Hi, let us today discuss about the heart, its external features, its chambers and other things. Heart is a conical muscular organ situated in the middle mediastinum, and it is almost a size of a clenched fist of the same person, and it consists of 4 chambers. This is the cut part of the right atrium. Okay, you can see this is the right atrium. This one is the right atrium, and you can see this part is the ventricle. Which is ventricle? It is a right ventricle. This one is the right ventricle, and this is right auricle. Here you see this one is the left ventricle. This is left ventricle, and this one is the left atrium. This portion is the left atrium. So these are the 4 chambers of the heart. Again I repeat, here this one is the right atrium, this is right ventricle, this is left ventricle, and this is left atrium. This one is the left atrium. This right part, that is the right atrium and the right ventricle, is considered as a venous chamber, where it receives the venous blood from the superior vena cava, and this is a superior vena cava. From the superior vena cava, this where I am putting my finger is the superior vena cava, which is formed by the union of 2 brachiocephalic veins here, and this is inferior vena cava from below. So venous blood from the superior vena cava, from the inferior vena cava, flows into the right atrium, and from the right atrium you can see inside there is an opening where I am putting my finger. That will be the right atrioventricular orifice or tricuspid orifice. Through that tricuspid orifice, the venous blood flows into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, the venous blood ejects out through this pulmonary trunk. That pulmonary trunk divides into right and left pulmonary arteries. Through the pulmonary arteries, the venous blood goes into the lung and undergoes capillary systemic circulation, where it becomes oxygenated, and through 4 pulmonary veins, 2 on the right side. This is right upper pulmonary vein, this is right lower pulmonary vein, and similarly this is left upper pulmonary vein, and this one is the left lower pulmonary vein. 2 pulmonary veins on the left side, 2 pulmonary veins of right side. These 4 pulmonary veins open into the left atrium. From the left atrium, through mitral orifice, the blood opens into the oxygenated blood passes into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, through ascending aorta and arch of aorta and through its branches, it goes into systemic circulation. These are the branches of the arch of aorta. This is right brachiocephalic trunk. This is a brachiocephalic trunk. This one is the left common carotid artery, and this one is the left subclavian artery. So the right half of the heart is concerned with venous return, and it is concerned with pulmonary circulation, and the left half of the heart is concerned with oxygenated blood and is concerned with the systemic circulation. So again I repeat, blood from the right atrium flows into right ventricle. From the right ventricle, through pulmonary trunk and its branches, that is the right and left pulmonary branches, the blood flows to the lung, where it undergoes filtration and it becomes oxygenated, and the blood through 4 pulmonary veins opens into the left atrium, and from the left atrium into the left ventricle, and finally into systemic circulation. Coming to the anatomical position of the heart, most of the heart is situated to the 2/3 of the heart is situated to the left of the median plane, and 1/3 is situated to the right of the median plane, and you should place the diaphragmatic surface on your left palm and turn it slightly to the left, and this may be considered as the anatomical position of the heart. Coming to its measurements, before the measurements, the basic parts of the heart, it consists of a pointed part in its lower part, that is the apex of the heart. This is the apex of the heart. This one is the base of the heart. This is the base of the heart. A quadrilateral region which is called as the base of the heart. This is apex, and we find right border of the heart. This is right border. This one is inferior border. This one is the inferior border, and this is the left border. Right border, inferior border, left border, and this surface is called sternocostal surface. This completely it is a sternocostal surface. This one is the left surface, and this one is the inferior surface or diaphragmatic surface. Where I am placing it, this is inferior surface or diaphragmatic surface. These are the basic features of the heart. I am talking about this is apex, base. This base can also be called as posterior surface. Base is also called as posterior surface. This is pointed part below and in front, it is the apex. This is right border. We'll talk about the individual borders and surfaces later. This is inferior border, left border, sternocostal surface, diaphragmatic surface, and left surface. So knowing about these things, now let us talk about the measurements of the heart. From the apex to base, it is roughly around 12 centimeters. Anteroposteriorly, it is roughly around 6 to 7 centimeters. From anterior to posterior, it may be around 6 to 7 centimeters. From the apex to the base, it is around 12 centimeters roughly. And transverse diameter extends up to 8 to 9 centimeters transversely. This is best elicited on X-rays. When we take chest X-ray in deep inspiration, the transverse diameter is half or less than half of the entire transverse diameter of the chest. Now, coming to the presenting parts, individually we will talk in detail. This part is called as the apex. Apex is a feature. It is a point seen on the lower and anterior aspect of left ventricle. Lower and anterior aspect of the left ventricle. Apex, and this apex is related to the anterior margin of the left lung and corresponding pleura. It is overlapped by the anterior margin of the or anterior border of the left lung. Imagine this as left lung. It overlaps the apex along with its surrounding covering pleura. The important thing in relation to the apex is an apex beat. A clinical thing known as apex beat is important. Apex beat is a forward thrust felt in the left fifth intercostal space, 7.5 centimeters to 9 centimeters to the left of the midline of the chest, slightly below and medial to the left nipple. This is a position of the apex beat. Now, what is an apex beat? Apex beat is a forward thrust felt in that space at the said region. It is formed due to the twisting of the vertex-like disposition of the muscle of the left ventricle during systole. So, it is a forward thrust felt in the left fifth intercostal space, particularly in a leaning forward position, in a leaning forward position to an angle of 45 degrees. If you put your hand at that set place, that is the left fifth intercostal space, you can see something is coming and tapping your finger. That is called as apex beat. That is happening because of the twisting of vertex-like disposition of the muscles of the left ventricle during systole. This apex beat is a normal finding. This apex beat in case of children is slightly at a higher level. Instead of fifth intercostal space in the adults, in the children it is in the till the age of 2 to 3 years, it is felt in the left fourth intercostal space, slightly lateral to the nipple. Later, after 2 to 3 years, the apex beat is shifted to its normal adult position, that is the left fifth intercostal space, 7.5 to 9 centimeter or 9 centimeters to the left of the median plane. So this is all about the apex. Now base. This is the base. This is the base. Base is actually a quadrilateral region. It is a quadrilateral region formed by two chambers. This is left atrium. This is right atrium. Base is formed by the 2/3. It is formed by the left atrium, and this is right atrium. You can see a faint groove here. That is the interatrial groove. This is called as the interatrial groove. This is left atrium. This is right atrium. The boundaries of the base or the posterior surface above it is limited by the this one, that is a bifurcation of pulmonary trunk. Here this is a pulmonary trunk which is bifurcating, although we are not seeing the branches of the pulmonary trunk, that is the pulmonary arteries here, but that is the upper limit. The bifurcation of the pulmonary trunk is the upper limit. Posterior, this one, posterior atrium, these are the atrium and these two are the ventricles. So this is posterior atrioventricular groove. This is the posterior atrioventricular groove that is forming the lower limit of the base. Upper limit is the bifurcation of the pulmonary trunk and the lower limit is the posterior atrioventricular groove. This posterior atrioventricular groove contains the anastomosis of circumflex branch of left coronary artery and the trunk of the right coronary artery, close to the crux of the heart. We'll talk about it again. And coming to the base, the right margin of the base is formed by in its upper part by this one, that is a superior vena cava. The right margin in the upper part, I am passing my forceps, is formed by the superior vena cava, and in the lower part by the opening which is the inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. That is the right limit of the base. And the left limit of the base is formed by the left upper pulmonary vein and left lower pulmonary vein. This is a left limit of the base, left upper pulmonary vein and left lower pulmonary vein. It also contains two other openings, that is a right pulmonary vein, right upper pulmonary vein and right lower pulmonary vein. So there are 6 venous openings which are concerned with the base. Again I am saying the opening of superior vena cava, the opening of inferior vena cava, the right upper pulmonary vein, the right lower pulmonary vein, the left upper pulmonary vein, the left lower pulmonary vein. These 6 openings, venous openings, are enclosed in a serous tube, in a serous sac of visceral pericardium, thereby forming an J-shaped or inverted J-shaped oblique sinus. So the left atrium, the atrium forms the anterior boundary, or the base forms the anterior boundary of this oblique sinus of pericardium. And coming to the base again, the relations of the base, if you see normally in recumbent position, this is a base. Here we are seeing the thoracic vertebra. Here the thoracic vertebral column will be present, and this is a base. The base is related to T5 to T8. T5 to T8 thoracic vertebra in recumbent supine position, whereas in standing position the base extends slightly, shifts slightly downwards, and it is related to T6 to T9 thoracic vertebra. And this base is related to the, again I have said, oblique sinus of pericardium, which already we have discussed. Then the fibrous pericardium. Then we have the bifurcation of the trachea into 2 bronchi posterior to it. So first it is oblique sinus, then fibrous pericardium, then bifurcation of the trachea, then we have the esophagus. Behind the esophagus is descending thoracic aorta, this one, descending thoracic aorta. Behind the descending thoracic aorta we have the thoracic duct deviating from right to the left. Behind the thoracic duct it is azygous and hemiazygous veins. Behind those, it is pelvic splanchnic, greater and lesser splanchnic nerves, not the pelvic one, and more posteriorly the posterior mediastinal lymph nodes, and finally the vertebral column. Again, the relations of the base I am talking. We have talked about the boundaries. Again, I repeat, the upper boundary is bifurcation of pulmonary trunk. The lower limit is posterior atrioventricular groove. To the left upper and left lower pulmonary vein. To the right, opening of superior and inferior vena cava. The base is formed 2/3 by the left atrium and 1/3 by the right atrium. The base is contained with 6 venous openings, thereby forming the oblique sinus of the pericardium, and it is related to the structures from before backwards. Again I repeat, oblique sinus of pericardium, the fibrous pericardium, the bifurcation of the trachea into 2 principal bronchi, the esophagus, the descending thoracic aorta, the thoracic duct, the azygous and hemiazygous veins, greater and lesser splanchnic nerves, the posterior mediastinal lymph nodes, and finally the vertebral column. So this is all about the base. So since this base is related to mostly to the left atrium, the oxygenated blood from the left atrium passes into the left ventricle through an opening inside, that is the mitral orifice. If there is a stenosis of that orifice, stenosis means narrowing. If there is a narrowing of the orifice, the blood from the left atrium does not pass freely to the left ventricle, wherein the left atrium may enlarge. During that case, if it is enlarged, it may compress the structures present posterior to it, particularly the esophagus, thereby causing dysphagia, that is a difficulty in the swallowing, and that condition we call it as Ortner's syndrome, and that phenomenon we call it as Ortner's, O-R-T-N-E-R-S, Ortner's syndrome. So this is all about the base. We have talked about the apex, we have talked about the base.